So stage 11, Marcus and Quartus, which not surprisingly means Marcus and Quartus, of course. So the grammar of this chapter, we saw another use of the dative. Right? So previously we saw the dative as the indirect object to refer something. This is another use of the dative called object of a special verb, as we talked about. So there are certain verbs like credo, I believe, or I trust, valio, I favor, that simply take a dative object. It's called object of a special verb. Also, placet, it's pleasing. Right? It takes a dative. It's pleasing to someone. Right? So two uses of the dative you know now. Indirect object and object of a special verb. Okay. Also, whenever the dative forms of nos and vos, which we already saw before anyhow, novus and vobis. All right, so the first 7 lines, I went ahead and marked the verbs in the first 7 lines, and also I underlined the datives so we can go through and make sure we identify what use of dative is going on here in each case. So let's go ahead and look at the first sentence. Marcus Tullius et Quartus Tullius erant fratres. So Marcus Tullius and Quartus Tullius were fratres. Hey, that the eraser here makes a much more visible pointer. Better start doing that. So Marcus Tullius and Quartus Tullius were fratres, were brothers. Marcus and Quartus in villa contentiunum habebant. So the verb is habebant, which of course is what tense? Imperfect, right? So they were having contentiunum, an argument, in villa, in the house. Marcus Quarto dixit. So the verb is dixit, which of course is perfect. The X is a clue. So Marcus is my nominative. So Marcus said. Then we have Quarto here, which is not accusative. He's not saying Quartus. He's saying something to Quartus. So this is an indirect object. This is the first use of the dative you saw. So he said to Quartus, right? Second declension dative singular. It says offer is the best candidate. Right? Optimus, of course, is what degree? It is superlative, right? The superlative of bonus. Remember that irregular adjective, bonus, good, melior, better. Optimus, best. So offer is the best candidate. So offer multus vilas et multus tabernas habet. The verb is habet. Offer is my subject, and it's a second declension noun here. You might think it's third, but it's actually second. It's one of those few seconds that don't have the US. They're all short at the end and R. Where and puer we've seen before. Offer also is a second declension. So offer has many houses and many taberna, shops. So he's rich. Pompiani afro fawent. Sorry, the verb is fawent, favor. Pompiani, the Pompeians, favor afro. Right? So what's the use of the dative here? Here's the object of a special verb. Right? Fawio is a verb that takes a dative, so it's the object of a special verb. That's the use of the dative. It's not an indirect object here. It's the object of a special verb. So the Pompeians favor offer because we're dives est, because he is a we're dives, a wealthy man, a rich man. We're dives. Okay. Minime Hoconius candidatus optimus est. So no, Hoconius is the best candidate. Quartus frater responded. So responded, he responded. Quartus responded. Fratri, indirect object, right? It's a third declension singular dative. It ends in an I, right? So Quartus responded fratri to his brother. Hoconius est vir nobilis. Hoconius is a noble man, man of good birth. Pompiani Hoconio credunt. The Pompeians trust Hoconius. Right? So use the dative there as object of a special verb. Credo is a verb that takes a dative. Right? It's not an indirect object here. It's the object here, credence, right? It's object of a special verb. So credo takes a dative. That's why Hoconius is put in the dative. So the Pompeians trust Hoconius because Patra Senator erat. Okay, so because his father was a senator, right? So you're looking at this because father senator was. Well, what else is it going to mean? Right? Because his father was a senator must be what he's saying, right? Okay, so going on. So Quartus quod erat irratissimus e villa discessit. So the main clause is Quartus e villa discessit. So Quartus discessit, which of course is perfect tense, right? Double S's, comes from discadet. So Quartus left from the house because erat irritissimus, because he was very angry. Irritissimus, of course, a superlative degree adjective here, right? Because he was very angry. He left from the house. Quartus sibi dixit. So Quartus said, let me grab the purple here. He said to himself, right? Quartus said to himself. So the S words, you remember, reflexive, so it refers back to Quartus. And it's a dative here because it's an indirect object, right? He said to himself. We saw an indirect object with Dixit up here as well, right? But here he's saying it to himself, so it takes an S word. Right? The S words are reflexive, they refer back to the subject. So he said to himself, Frater meus est stultissimus. My brother is very stupid, or even the most stupid. A superlative degree, stultissimus. Gens nostra halconio semper fawit. So halconio here is dative. So gens nostra, our family, our gens, semper fawit, always favors, and fawit is a verb that takes a dative. So halconius here is put in the dative halconio because it's the object of a special verb. Because our family favors halconius, right? So halconio, dative, object of a special verb, fawit, takes the dative. Okay, so going on. Quartus per viam ambulabat et rem cogitabat. So Quartus ambulabat, he was walking along the street, and he cogitabat, he was thinking about the rem. Right, notice verb first and verb last. Everything else has to do with that verb in between that verb and the subject. So per viam has to do with ambulabat, rem has to do with cogitabat. So they're each element with its respective verb. So Quartus is the subject of all this. Quartus was walking per viam along the street, and rem cogitabat, he was thinking about the rem, the thing. Suddenly, parvam tabernum conspexit. So he saw conspexit, the X is a clue that it's perfect. He saw the accusative, parvam tabernum, a small shop. Ubi scriptor habitabat, so where a painter habitabat was living. Okay, a painter or a sign writer here is better. That's more what they're going for. So where a sign writer was living. Again, habitabat makes sense to be imperfect because he didn't live there in one complete action, right? But it went on for a while. So he saw a shop where a sign writer was living. Scriptor Sula erat. So the sign writer was Scylla. That's his name. Can't get wrong with a name like Scylla. Quartus, postquam tabernum videt concilium cepit. So the main clause is Quartus concilium cepit. Quartus, he came up with a plan. So I think the book gives this to you as hatched a plan somewhere. I'm not sure no one says that anymore, but he took a plan, he came up with a plan. Okay, and then the subordinate clause after tabernum videt, after he saw the shop. So Quartus, after he saw the shop, he came up with a plan. And videt here, it's going to be what tense? This is perfect tense. And here the IT actually helps me because this comes from a second conjugation verb, which we may have talked about already. And its present tense would therefore end in ET, but this ends in IT, so it can't be the present because it's not ET, so it's got to be that perfect IT ending. So after he saw the shop, he came up with a plan. Tabernum intrawit, he entered the shop. Well, that's a good plan so far. Et sulam ad wheelam sulam invitavit. So and he invitavit, he invited. Okay, he invited the direct object, Scylla, prepositional phrase, to his house. Whose house? Quartus's house, right? The reflexive pronoun suam refers back to him, of course. Postquam ad wheelam venerant. So after they came to the house, Quartus sulae morum astendit. Okay, so here we have another dative. So Quartus astended, he showed the accusative, the wall, Sulae, to Scylla. So here's the indirect object, Right? He showed the direct object to the indirect object. So Quartus showed the wall to Sylla. Scribe hunc titulum. So write this inscription or this slogan, he said. Write Quartus et frater Halconio fauent. So scribe here, these are called imperatives, something that we'll see in the upcoming chapter. So they're direct commands. Scribe, write. So it's not he writes, it's a command, write. So write Quartus et frater Halconio fauent. Right, so Halconio is dative. And why is Halconio dative here? Because of fauent, of course, right? Then be dative there again. Let me go ahead and mark these datives so I don't keep going back and forth. Okay. So Halconio, dative because it's the object of a special verb. Fauent takes a dative. Quartus and his brother believe or trust. Halconius, same thing, right? Halconius here is dative, Halconio, because it's the object of a special verb. Created and takes a dative. Right, so it's not an indirect object, it's the object of a special verb. So Quartus and his brother believe or trust Halconius. Okay, Quartus scriptori decem denarios dedit. So very alliterative, right? Decem denarios dedit. So Quartus dedit, he gave, right? This is a dative. Have we know this dative? Something we talked about in class. A reduplicated consonant there, right? Deda. By reduplicating that consonant sound, that's a sign that it's dative, right? In addition to vuxi, as we saw before. So Quartus gave the accusative decem denarios. Decem does not decline, but denarios does, so we know it's accusative. He gave the accusative to the dative, right? Give is a verb, just like show, ascendo, is going to take a dative in the accusative frequently, right? You show or you give the accusative to the dative. So he gave 10 denariuses, scriptori, third declension dative singular, to the signwriter. Placetne tibi, is it pleasing to you? Is it pleasing to you? Asked Quartus. Right. So the nay, as we saw also in this chapter, we saw a review of ways to ask questions. And the dash nay, right? The nay attaches a suffix to the end of the word, just means it's a question, right? So placet is it pleasing? And then placet takes object of a special verb, right? Dative, tibi. So is it pleasing, tibi, to you? Is it pleasing to you? Asked Quartus. Me placet. So again, me here, object of a special verb, that's a dative of me, of I, right? It's like tibi is a dative of to. So it's pleasing to me. Sylla Quarta responded. So Sylla responded to Quartus. Right? So here it's an indirect object. He responded to Quartus. Sylla postquam denarios accepit. So after he received or accepted the denariuses, he wrote a slogan on the wall. He wrote the slogan on the wall. Okay. So that'd be something for Marcus to look forward to. I like it. All right. So until next time.